Hello everyone, CMeeCraft here, and welcome to A Little Lily Princess. This is a game that came out a while back now at this point, but it's from the same developers as, it's from Hanako Games, the same developers that made Long Live the Queen, which was actually, I believe, like the first or second game I tried streaming. So, I've got some experience with the developer, played a couple of their other games before as well. As I understand it, it's like a visual novel adjacent sort of stat-building game, similar to Long Live the Queen, or like Princess Maker, which we've also played on the channel as well. Volcano Princess 2 would be a similar type of game, growing up. So yeah, I'm interested to see what's going on here. I think the general premise is we're going to like a boarding school or something and need to survive. Actually, I'm not sure if death is at stake, but who knows? Maybe. In any case, I'm interested in taking a look at it, so let's go. It was spring when Sara's school life began, but spring in London was nothing like any spring she had known before. Right, yeah, England, it's gonna be all like muggy and stuff, right? Wet. The morning sun was not enough to lift the chill from the stony streets, and the mist off the river blended with the smoke of countless chimneys to form a thick yellow fog. In such weather, the gas lamps burned night and day, flickering like stars to guide the horse-drawn ships to their destinations. Horse-drawn ships? But the ship that had carried her across the ocean was now a thing of the past. Here, then, was Sara's new home. Oh, across the ocean, so I'm not a native. Might I be from the continent? Maybe America? It was a big, dull brick house, exactly like all the others in its row, except that on the front door there shone a brass plate which was engraved in black letters. Miss Minchin's Select Seminary for Young Ladies. Seminary? So I'm getting a religious education. Huh. I guess. Girls, gather round if you please. Come, hurry up. We have a new pupil who will be joining us starting today. Her name is Sara Crewe, and she has only recently arrived in England, so make sure you make her feel welcome here. How do you do? The room filled with a chorus of gently murmured greetings. Sara Crewe, for that was her name, looked upon a garden of strangers. Every face was turned to her, polite and attentive, and perfectly foreign. She felt more lost than she had ever been at sea. Sara dear, as you can see, we have pupils here of all levels, but these three are particularly near your age. This is Miss Lavina Herbert. Charmed. Miss Ermengarde St. John. And Miss Jessie Abbott. We're very pleased to meet you. I'm very pleased to meet you as well. I've never known very many girls near my age. Nor any other age. Sara's life before that point had been not isolated, but sheltered. Her mother had died when she was born, leaving Sara to be raised by the young, handsome father, who was the only relation she had ever known. Some fathers had little time for the children, but Sara and her papa had always been quite close, reading books and playing games together every day. He treated her as a little confidant, sharing his thoughts with her as if she were his peer and not a very young girl, and listened solemnly to the advice she gave in return, though he didn't always follow it. Sara never felt lonely, but it must be said that she had very little experience in making new friends. Oh, she's just like me! She's just like me for real. Sara's father, Captain Crewe, makes his home in India, and he is returning there as we speak. I shall expect you all to be very agreeable to her. Oh, India. Okay, so he's probably working for the government. He's got the India post. Okay, that's a respectable position in the British Empire, right? Now, Sara, take your seat. Your father has informed me how very much you enjoy your studies, and I expect you to be a credit to this establishment. I'm not certain how to become a credit, but I do wish to learn. This statement was met with muffled giggles. Confused, Sara looked back at Miss Minchin for guidance. Take your seat, I said. But which seat is mine? Concerned that she would look disobedient if she hesitated further, she slid into the nearest empty place. No one objected, and she let out a sigh of relief. Nearby, 2 girls turned to whisper to each other. "What a way she has of speaking. So old-fashioned." "Hush. And her eyes are such a queer..." Queer? Are we allowed to use that as a description of eyes? Okay. "Her eyes are such a queer color. A funny-looking child, to be sure." Is queer... I'm not really up to date in my lingo, necessarily. Is queer... Or, I guess maybe out of date would be the right way. Like, queer just means, like, the old, like, archaic definition of queer is, like, weird, right? Like, atypical, I think. I don't know. Maybe that's the terminology here. Because I doubt she's saying that my eyes look homosexual. Well, she isn't pretty as other pretty people are, but there is something about her. She makes you want to look at her again to see what it is. And she has tremendously long eyelashes. Only you would notice such a thing. Girls, kindly pay attention to your lessons. Yes, Miss Minchin. Choose an activity for Sara to perform each day. Every activity has 3 possible outcomes, which will change the icons you receive. At the end of the week, Sara's icons will be collected and turned into resources. Books become knowledge, little pallets become artistry, time becomes patience, the hearts become sympathy, wings become grace, the cross becomes belief, and running becomes vigor. Icons are only converted at the end of the week. Until then, they can be changed or lost by other activities. Plan the order of your activities in order to get the best results for the week. Okay, so I guess, like, if there's something where it's like, I can gain knowledge at the expense of sympathy, I should probably do that, like, before I actually gain sympathy in the week, or something like that. Okay, so it looks like I got, like, 6 options for each day. Okay, I'm just gonna probably shorthand call these what they end up becoming. So same thing each day? Okay. So you can read a book, which could have 3 knowledge, an artistry and a knowledge, or just 1 knowledge. Okay, given that one of the options is 3 knowledge and the other is 1 knowledge, I'm gonna assume that it's probably randomly determined, because otherwise, if I got the choice, there's no reason to pick 1 knowledge over 3 knowledge ever. So I guess we'll need to account for the randomness as we make our selections here. Practice dance, 2 artistry and 2 grace. Oh, there's a double here. Okay, because one of them is a vigor, a patience, and a grace, but one of them is double all vigor, which could be bad, right? If we do practice dance first, and the first thing we get is double all vigor, and we don't have any vigor to double, that's probably bad. So maybe you want to practice dance towards the end of the week, I guess. Play with toys. So we could get a faith, a sympathy, an artistry, and a vigor, or just 1 vigor. Or could get artistry equal to half of our current artistry. Okay, again, that's probably another like end of week thing, because again, if you get the artistry and you haven't gotten any artistry yet, that's gonna be bad. Alright, walk would be artistry equal to vigor, grace equal to vigor, or gain vigor and patience. So this is something you're gonna want. I guess it kind of makes sense. Oh, okay, that's actually really good, because you're going on the walk, and you're like having time to your thoughts, but you're not gonna have time for your thoughts on the walk if you're so out of shape that you're like, I can barely make it. Oh my goodness, no! I'm dying here. So that's pretty thematic there. Okay, this one actually seems pretty safe. You've got either a faith, a knowledge, and an artistry. 2 faith, 2 sympathy, or 2 patience. So nothing that depends on anything else. That could be a good thing to start with. Tea party, 3 sympathy, a sympathy and artistry, and a grace, or a vigor and a faith. Interesting. So I mean, going for a walk seems pretty good if we can get vigor up pretty high before we go for a walk. The question is, what can you use to get vigor? I mean, tea party has a 1 in 3 chance of giving some vigor. Going for a walk has again a 1 in 3 chance. Playing with toys has a 2 in 3 chance, but it also has a 1 in 3 chance of the artistry. And if you do that first, that's just not going to trigger. Dancing could double all the vigor. Ooh, this is tough. I mean, you could start playing with toys. I mean, that gives you a decent little... Okay, we're gonna try... Obviously, a book would be a pretty safe thing, right? To start with, because nothing is based on other things. Similar deal with Tea Party. The issue, though, is, like... Again, a lot of these things... Like, practice dance doubles your vigor, potentially. Going for a walk gives you other things based on how much vigor you currently have. So it seems like if there's anything that's really good to get early, just straight up, it would be vigor. The issue is there doesn't really seem to be a way to get vigor without risking an event that is based on other things. Aside from the Tea Party, but that's only a 1 in 3 chance of getting vigor, so that's not really... But, okay, hear me out on this. Tea Party, okay? Tea Party, we got a 1 in 3 chance of vigor and a 1 in 3 chance of artistry. Then from here, you play with toys. Now at that point, you're either at 2 vigor, maybe, so you're happy. Or, if you got artistry here, maybe now you're okay to increase your artistry further. Not sure if that rounds up or down. From there, you practice dance, which would double all your vigor, which, best case scenario, means now we're at 4 vigor, right? Even if it doesn't do that, that's a lot of artistry you could potentially be getting. And then from here, maybe now you go for a walk twice, and hopefully that gives you a lot of grace and artistry. Now, so our best case scenario, we're getting like, you know, potentially like 4 artistry, 4 grace, 4 vigor. Worst case scenario, we're gonna get 3 sympathy, then nothing, then 1 vigor, then like 2 of each of these. But so I guess it's probably gonna end up somewhere in the middle there. Hopefully it'll be for the best. Hopefully it'll be positive. Let's try. Let's see how it goes. Now the schedules you have set will be carried out. For each weekday, Sarah will point to the randomly chosen result, and those icons will appear on the right side of the screen. You do not have to click to advance between days, it will happen automatically. You can adjust the speed of activities from the Preferences menu. Remember, icons are only converted to resources at the end of the week. A result of double all icons will double your current icons, but not your long-term knowledge resources. Okay. Good to know. Okay, that's fine. That's acceptable. This means that this is going to be good. No, okay, it's okay. We have no vigor. Okay, so now, I'm seeing the problem now. We have no vigor going into our walks now. I thought it was statistically improbable we had 0 vigor going into the walks, but okay. On the plus side, we got a lot of artistry and grace. Dang, that did not go well. My 2 rooms, just for me. 2 rooms? Ooh, fancy. Sarah was what was known as a parlor boarder. Where other girls were quartered in standard issue single rooms, she had a large bedroom, uniquely decorated, and a separate sitting room with a comfortable sofa. Oh, good for entertaining guests. My papa has filled them with beautiful things. Books, velvet cushions, lace dresses, a porcelain tea set. Hats with great feathers that bob on them, even a tiger rug to remind me of India. Oh yeah, I can see sort of like look, she has little elephants there. Those are some good touches, culturally. It looks like a room that would belong to the daughter of a Raj, an Indian princess. I wish that this room also contained my papa. Perhaps it does. He gave me all of these things, and whenever I touch them, I can imagine that he is with me. And when I read his farewell letter, I can hear his voice. My dear little missus, so here you are, in the place you always knew you must go. But be of good cheer. You will not have to stay for a very long time. There will be a lot of little girls, and you will play together. And I will send you plenty of books, and you'll grow so fast that it will seem scarcely a year before you are big enough and clever enough to come back and take care of Papa. Okay, so I guess we're going to be attending school for like a year. Good to know. I am not in the least anxious about your education. You're always sitting with your little nose burrowing into books, gobbling them up as if you were a little wolf instead of a little girl. I've instructed Miss Minchin to drag you away from your books when you read too much, and make you go ride your pony in the row or buy a new doll. You ought to play more with dolls.
Oh, Papa, if I bought a new doll every day, I would have too many to be able to make friends with them all. I'm happiest with just Emily, and happier because I was with you when I met her.
Emily, of course, was the name of a doll, a very special doll, that Sara had discovered when her papa took her to visit the premier toy shops of London. She was a large doll, but not too large to carry about easily. She had naturally curling golden brown hair, which hung like a mantle about her, and her eyes were a deep, clear grey blue, with soft, thick eyelashes which were real eyelashes, and not mere painted lines. At Sara's insistence, she had been given a wardrobe every bit as grand as Sara's own, with frocks and coats and nightgowns and beautiful lace-trimmed underthings. She even had her own tiny lady's handkerchief and her own cradle bed at the foot of Sara's. Oh yeah, I can see that. Sara lifted Emily up onto her lap and smiled at her, just as she would another little girl.
My papa is on the sea now, Emily. We must be very great friends to each other. Intimate friends, and tell each other things. Look at me, Emily. You have the nicest eyes I ever saw, but I wish you could speak.
She brushed Emily's hair fondly, setting her in pride of place.
There are so many girls in this school. I've never seen so many children in one place before. I'm afraid I shall not even remember all of their names. I have always known that someday I would be required to go away, to leave my home and my papa, and come to England to be educated. I must do my duty, even if I do not like it. I dare say soldiers, even brave ones, don't really like going into battle, but they must do it anyway, and not cry and fuss. So must I. But oh, it is so lonely.
She could not know, of course, how her quiet sorrow might be misinterpreted by others. Miss Minchin, the proprietor, had seen the lavish preparations for Sara's pretty little room, and concluded that here was a child who had always been given her own way at the expense of others. Such a spoiled little girl might be expected to kick and scream and set the whole house into an uproar when abandoned by her only parent. She did not suggest to Miss Minchin that Sara cared nothing at all for her papa, but only for her dresses and toys. Such was not a thought that inspired sympathy in her heart for the newcomer. Just then came a sound at the door of Sara's room. Sara was not a girl easily given to fear or startlement, but she had a healthy share of curiosity and went at once to see what it was. Outside sat a little girl right on her bottom in the middle of the hall, her baby-plump legs splayed and the lace of her petticoats askew as if she had just toppled over, which in fact she had.
Hello there, who might you be? I'm Lottie.
Her words were hard to make out through the fingers she had shoved into her mouth.
Lottie?
The fingers were withdrawn and wiped dry among the frills of her skirt.
Lottie Lay.
Sara smiled. Here then was a chance to meet just one person at a time instead of a crowd of strangers.
Well then, I'm Sara Crewe, and now we are properly introduced.
She held out a hand and helped the little girl to her feet.
Was there something you wanted? May I look at your doll? Of course you may. Come and visit me in my room, and we can have tea together. My papa left me a beautiful tea set with lilies painted on it. Emily has her own service, as well as size for her hand, because she is too small to hold on one of my cups. I want to see. Come inside then, and I will introduce you to Emily.
And that was Sara's first week of classes at Miss Minchin's Select Seminary for Young Ladies. On the weekends, you can spend the resources you have collected in order to unlock scenes with different characters. The requirements for each event will be listed in the box next to that character. If an event requires 5 belief, You must have at least 5 belief on the left-hand side of the screen in order to select Play Event. Playing that event will lower your current belief by 5. Some scenes will not be available until later in the story. Others can only be played early in the game. Pay attention to the requirements. It is best to focus your attention on only 2 or 3 characters in order to have time to play all of their scenes. Okay. Okay, so Lottie's gonna need 5 belief. Lavina needs 3 grace, which we have, but it's only available in week 2, it would seem. I guess, is there any downside to spending this stuff here? Like, is there any other use that might be more pressing? I mean, we haven't been indicated that there is, so I guess we might as well play our event with the Jessie. Hello, Sarah. May I come in to visit? Sarah rose to her feet at once.
You are very welcome. Please come inside.
Jessie stepped into the room, then held out her skirt to drop a delicate curtsy in greeting. I know we have been introduced, but I wish to make your acquaintance more personally. And without Lavi listening in.
Lavina, I thought that you and she were the best of friends.
Of course we are. I adore her. She's so classic, so elegant and focused. I admire her very much. However, sometimes it is nicer to do things for oneself. Are those real silk stockings you're wearing? Sarah blinked, caught unawares by this change of topic.
Yes, I have several pairs. My papa took me to many shops while he was in London.
They're darling. Or mine are only Lyle cotton? May I see the pattern? Sarah sat down in her comfortable armchair, lifting the hem of her skirt slightly so that the floral embroidery over her ankle was visible. What little feet you have! I never saw such little cutesy little feet.
Are they small?
She raised her leg a bit, pointing her toes and moving her foot this way and that.
They seem the same size as they have always been, even though I know they must have been small when I was younger. I'm sure that Lottie's feet are smaller than mine, and Emily's, of course, are the smallest of all.
Emily?
Emily's the doll that my papa bought to be my companion.
Sarah stood up and lifted Emily into her arms for Jessie to admire.
Emily, this is Jessie Abbott, my new friend.
The little girl dropped a beautiful curtsy, then laughed. Oh, she has silk stockings too. Stockings for such teeny tiny feet. How cute. But you do have small feet for your height, Sarah. I'm sure you do. Look at mine. Jessie pressed her foot up alongside Sarah's for comparison. I just know whether larger or smaller feet are better. For dancing, I mean. If you dance with a partner, small feet would be better to avoid being stepped on, and they look very stylish in slippers. Slippers are cuter if they're smaller. But I mean, larger feet arguably maybe help with stability, at least to a point, I would imagine. But larger feet might be better for holding positions and standing on your toes. Small feet may not be as strong. Your feet have a good shape, though. They arch well. They're very pretty.
Can feet be pretty? I don't know, I think they're just kind of weird and nasty and always touching the ground and gross stuff. They always kind of stink. Have you ever, like, smelled your nail clippings after you've cut your toenails? They no matter how clean your feet are, they always stink. Feet, they're kind of weird. Colonel Grange's little daughter, Isabel, in India, was the prettiest girl I ever knew. All the gentlemen said she was the beauty of the regiment. She had dimples and round, rose-colored cheeks, pale blue eyes, and long curling hair, the color of gold, and everyone said those things were very pretty. And no one ever spoke of her feet. I suppose if feet can be pretty, then perhaps I do have pretty feet? I know the rest of me is not. My hair is too black, it's straight and short. I'm too thin, and my eyes are a strange color. You do not have the same kind of beauty that dolls are made of, but that doesn't mean you aren't pretty. I think you are quite interesting to look at. Sarah did not wish to contradict her new friend, who had no reason to lie, but her inner conviction that she was an ugly little girl could not be so easily dispelled. Will you show me the rest of your dolls and clothes? Do you have all of your petticoats?
Or do all of your petticoats have so many lace frills? Do you? Do you think any of them would fit me?
I don't know. I suppose we can find out.
Ooh, new week. Nice. On Sunday morning, the students gathered in the entrance hall of Miss Minchin's Select Seminary. Girls, are you ready? Form up into a line behind Lavina. Sara, dear, it is our custom to walk to and from church every Sunday, when the weather permits. That allows the horses a day of rest and ensures that students receive regular exercise. Oh, and also, there's a whole religious service as well. Your immortal souls are of our concern just as much as your mortal concerns. It is important to look your best when we are walking in public, among the public. We want our school to always leave a good impression. You should follow Lavina's cues, as she will show you what to do. Lavina is always a model student. As if hearing her name, Lavina smiled and tilted her head. You could learn a great deal from Lavina, dear, and as her father is also posted to India, the two of you should have much in common. I am sure you will make close friends. Now go, and stand in line behind her. Sara made her way to the front of the line, where Jessie and Lavina stood close together.
What are you doing? Go to the back. Miss Minchin told me to stand behind you. She said you were a model? Oh, very well then.
But that's my place.
You wouldn't want to disobey Miss Minchin, would you? No. We have to show our new girl how to behave herself in church. She may never have seen one before.
Sara thought it wisest to remain silent. Oh, have I actually never been to church before? Okay, so this pattern of stuff didn't work out very well. We could use some more grace. So I got a grace max here. We could do the same thing if we just got better rolls. It would probably work. Right? And the issue is we got artistry twice in a row. At that point we had no vigor. Is there any way to have like a higher chance to get vigor? If we did play with toys twice in a row, maybe that's the play? Because you still have the same odds of getting the artistry to have something for it. But you're also getting at least, like, you're doubling your odds of having at least one vigor. So we'll try this. I think that'll help with our odds here. And we do still want to be going for, grace and whatnot. I wonder if there's a cap touch we can get. Okay, that's good. Not bad. It's okay. We have one vigor. Dance. You were supposed to double that. We're supposed to double it and give it to the next person. Okay, that's fine. We're at 2. If we leverage that into some grace, okay, that's not bad. Could be better, it's not bad. Got 4 artistry, 2 vigor, 1 patience, 4 grace, 1 sympathy, and 1 belief.